The Ramakrishna Vedanta Society of North Carolina, a humble home on Globe Road, Morrisville. For years, devotees gathered here, in love, in prayer, in community. The presence of Holy Trio has blessed this land from the very beginning. It is for them, and for all seeking souls, that a new universal temple will rise. This temple is not built for one people, or one faith, or one path. It is built for every seeking soul. In 1893, Swami Vivekananda shared a vision with the world. We believe not only in universal toleration, but we accept all religions as true. As Sri Ramakrishna taught, Joto mat, toto bot. As many faiths, so many paths. All are welcome here. Universal Temple of Ramakrishna Vedanta Center of NC. But first, the land had to be prepared. Across Globe Road, a wooded lot waited. Bamboos, dense trees, wild undergrowth. This land held its breath, waiting for a higher purpose. With faith as the foundation. Before the foundation was laid, every root removed, every obstacle cleared. The land was made ready for something eternal. The ground was broken, and a dream was planted. Our foundation had begun. In a moment of profound grace, the rendering of this temple was blessed by Most Revered Swami Gautamanandaji, President of the Worldwide Ramakrishna Math and Mission. Before the machines arrived, volunteers kept this land alive. Month after month, clearing the weeds, holding the ground, keeping the dream within reach. Now, look at this land. Not long ago, dense forest, bamboo, wild undergrowth, slowly impenetrable. But today, it is being shaped by faithful hands and heavy machines, leveled, prepared, made ready. This is your investment at work. Every dollar donated, every prayer offered, every hour volunteered, it is visible right here, in this very earth being shaped and leveled. A sacred foundation, a holy ground. By the grace of Sri Ramakrishna, the temple rises, one layer of earth at a time.
I just want to say something on behalf of the ashrama. As you can see, they have taken up a big work and it's coming along very nicely thanks to generous contributions from you. They are shy about asking for money, but I say you should, because you're doing something wonderful. And this will be like a permanent gift to the community for generations ahead. So please do contribute. All those who are here, And those who are watching or will watch this, it's my appeal to you. Please offer whatever you can to this wonderful project, and let the ashram come up and be a blessing to the whole community for generations, decades, and centuries into the future. You can't think of a better legacy.
Pranam. As I stand here, I'm filled with a sense of deep gratitude and a sense of responsibility. So many of you have gathered over the weekend, leaving aside a lot of the distractions, a lot of your activities, to come to a spiritual talk and participating in the fundraising to construct the Universal Temple of North Carolina, which is already underway. We are truly blessed today to have Swami Sarvapriyananda ji here. His talks are not just talks, they are transformative in nature. And through Swami Sarvapriyananda ji, we actually feel the presence of Swami Vivekananda and his great master, Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa, and his holy consort, Holy Mother Sarda Devi. So those of you who do not know much about Ramakrishna Vedanta Society of North Carolina, we are part of a worldwide spiritual movement called Ramakrishna Movement, which is engaged in service to humanity. We have a very humble center on Globe Road in Morrisville, and what we try to do is very simple, very humbly and sincerely. We try to realize the divinity within us and to serve the divinity around us. Very simple. But today I'm going to talk about something much deeper as to why we are trying or we are constructing the Universal Temple of North Carolina. What is the mission? What is the vision? And why do we need this space? Swami Sarvadevananda ji, who is the spiritual head of our center, once lovingly told me, there's a lot of pain in this world. There's a lot of people who are suffering, they're struggling, a lot of anxiety. They need a space. They need a space where they find peace. They feel the presence of the divine. They feel the love of the divine, love of fellow devotees. They need a space. We have a space. It's too small. We need a sacred, bigger space. Next thing is we need that space for our future generations. Our children are very smart. They're going to achieve a lot of different things, and they're going to earn a lot of money. They're going to be very successful. But who is going to teach them how to remain grounded? Who is going to teach them how to be calm? Who is going to teach them how to be compassionate? Who is going to teach them who truly they are? Who truly they are? Who am I? It's the title of this talk. So many of you have gathered here for that talk. Swamiji gave that talk first in IIT Kanpur 12 years ago. There are 6 million views to that talk. Who is going to teach that to our children? So we need a space for the children. The schools are not going to teach all of that. We have a Vedanta school and our dedicated teachers who impart those values to the next generation. The next thing is service. What does spirituality mean if it is not resulting in any action? Yesterday's talk, authentic existence. My brother is standing in the back and he summed it up very nicely at the end of the talk. Authentic existence is unselfishness and serving others. At Vedanta Society of North Carolina, we humbly try to serve people. We take food to the homeless shelters for women and children once a month. We go out to the urban ministry of Durham. We serve food ourselves, not from a distance. A lot of organizations are serving humanity. Where is all that coming from? It's not us. That comes from Swami Vivekananda, who first said Jive Sheva. It comes from his master Ramakrishna Paramahansa. Do we not need a space for those teachings? And that's what we are trying to do here. That's why we are trying to do a universal temple that is not going to be a temple for just one people. It's going to be a temple for all faiths, where people who are stressed out can relax, find peace, unwind. That's what we are trying to do. So, if you believe in our vision, our mission, and the need for this space, I humbly request you to be part of this journey. Not just as donors, but as part of a legacy. Some years down the lane, when people say there's someone who had the vision and the courage to build this, let that someone be us. Thank you very much for your support, for your devotion, and for being here.
Thank you, Samrat. In the spiritual tradition of Vedanta, it is said that knowledge alone can set us free, but only when it's properly understood, reflected upon, and lived. For that, we need a guide. And when such a guide combines profound scholarship with the rare gift of making the most subtle truths accessible, even to our very practical modern minds, it is truly a blessing. It is my great privilege, honor, and grace to introduce Swami Sarvapriyananda, monk of the Ramakrishna order and the spiritual leader of the Vedanta Society of New York. Before donning the saffron robes, Swamiji had earned an MBA from the Xavier Institute of Management in Bhubaneswar, a corporate world detour that lends his teaching an unusually structured, jargon-free clarity rarely found in traditional spiritual discourses. He has often shared that as a child, his first ambition was to become a pilot, and his second to find God, until the second goal quietly consumed the first. He formally joined the Ramakrishna order in 1994 at age 23 and took his first final monastic vows in 2004 under Swami Ranganathanandaji. Swami Sarvapriyananda is widely regarded as one of the most compelling contemporary teachers of Vedanta. Through his lectures, writings, and widely followed online talks, he has brought the timeless wisdom of Upanishads into the lives of seekers across the world. His ability to combine razor-sharp logic with deep spiritual insight and occasionally a perfectly timed touch of humor has made even the most abstract truths feel immediate and relevant. A hallmark of his style is his dialogue he stages between Advaita Vedanta and modern thought, engaging with neuroscience, consciousness studies, AI, and thinkers like David Chalmers, Donald Hoffman, and Bernardo Kastrup, while drawing parallels with Christian, Buddhist, and Sufi traditions. In 2019-2020, he became part of the first group of Hindu Swamis to serve as the inaugural fellow at Harvard Divinity School, cementing the role as a bridge between traditional monasticism and Western academic inquiry. His gentle humor, his fondness for Star Wars and Matrix analogies, and his knack for making dense doctrines feel almost conversational. What makes Swamiji's teaching especially powerful is that he does not ask us to withdraw from life, but rather to understand it more deeply, to discover the infinite within the finite, the eternal within the everyday. At yesterday's talk at the Duke University's glorious Godson Chapel, Swamiji mesmerized us with his insights on authentic existence that Samrat mentioned. A thought stuck to me from the last night. Swamiji urged everyone to not think about us as human beings in search of spiritual experience. Rather, he inspired us to think as spiritual beings going through a human experience. Such is the power of universal consciousness that pervades amongst all of us. Now, I would request one of our own, Mr. Swadesh Chatterjee, to formally welcome Swamiji. Swadesh da, as we lovingly call him, a physics honors graduate from Belur Math Vidya Mandir, Swadesh da has been a tireless karma yogi who has dedicated himself to fostering stronger ties between United States and India. In 2001, the President of India conferred upon him the Padma Bhushan, one of India's highest civilian awards, for his work in building better US-India relations. He played a key role in the signing of the 123 Civil Nuclear Pact between US and India, and previously served as the president of the Indian American Forum for Political Education, where he helped strengthen the Congressional Caucus on India and Indian Americans. He leads the US-India Friendship Council and is the author of a brilliant book named Building Bridges. Former North Carolina Governor Ray Cooper presented the state's highest award, Order of the Longleaf Pine, to Mr. Chatterjee. The governor described Swadesh Chatterjee as a spark plug among us, as he applauded his contribution not only to the development of North Carolina, but also to the India-US relationship and enriching the cultural milieu of the United States. More recently, he was elected to the University of North Carolina Board of Governors, continuing his long record of civic and educational leadership in the state. So can you please come to the stage?
Thank you very much, Amit. I know my wife is sitting here. She will be very happy with this introduction. So thank you. I am truly honored and humbled to introduce someone whom I admire. Swami Sarvapriyananda is the Minister of Vedanta Society of New York. And his predecessor, Swami Tathagatananda, was also the minister in the Vedanta Society of New York, happened to be my warden, my superintendent when I was studying physics honors at Belur Vidya Mandir. That time his name was Lokhi Maharaj. So I got the privilege to go to him in New York, and also he came here. So I am attached to Ramakrishna Mission at the age of 15 years. When I went to college, my age was 15. My life foundation has started in Ramakrishna Mission from 1962 to 1965. Swami Sarvapriyananda joined the Ramakrishna Mission and the belief at the age of 23. At Amit mentioned very eloquently that, it was Swami Sarvapriyananda that at the age of 23 to become a part of Ramakrishna Mission and take the sannyasi in 2004. Swamiji was just telling, please put the light on. And the reason he was telling to put the light on, Swamiji is a teacher. He was the vice principal of Devghar Ramakrishna Mission Vidyapit, and then he became principal of the Ramakrishna Mission Sikha Mandir. I used to go to Vidya Mandir, that was the college. Then in the same close by, there was a college called Sikha Mandir, which was for B.Ed education for the teachers. And Swamiji was principal on that college. So you can imagine why Swamiji was telling, I used to be a teacher. And he was also the assistant minister at the Hollywood in California before he came to New York. I have heard his lecture 3 years ago in New Jersey. And I have never heard that someone can explain to all of us in general about what this Vedanta is all about. His lecture on Gita and connect this with general people is unheard of. Fortune magazine told Swami Sarvapriyananda is the best lecturer on Upanishad in the world. So he has not only spoken all the university around the globe, including Harvard School of Divinity. When he was graduating, he has 2 goals. First goal was to become a pilot. And second goal was to find God. So he decided the second goal, Though I argue that he did not forget the first goal. He is still a pilot, but not in the cockpit, but he is piloting self-realization in our life. He is piloting all of us. So he is really a true pilot. I am so humbled that he came here and giving a lecture to all of you. It is an opportunity. Take advantage of this, and please welcome Sarvapriyananda ji to the voice.
Swami Vivekananda would start his talks here in the United States. He would chant beautifully from all accounts. He had a wonderful voice, sonorous, like a bell tolling. And he would chant the original Sanskrit just like we heard now, and then translate. It is the essence of all spirituality. The bare minimum hypothesis that there is some spiritual reality. And it can be accessed or realized. And if you access it or realize it, you get it, attain it, then one transcends suffering, sorrow in a deep way. As Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, attaining which nothing greater remains to be attained. Being centered in which the heaviest of sorrows cannot shake you. So that is the spiritual quest. In the broadest sense, not just Vedanta. Every spiritual path makes this claim. And it's not just a claim, there is proof. The proof lies in the lives of the saints, those we consider to be enlightened, those we consider to be spiritually advanced, bodhisattvas, saints, jivan mukta, sthita prajna, whatever you call it. There have been names applied to them in every spiritual tradition. But especially in India, if you look back upon ancient India, this was the central project. That they made this tremendous discovery that there is this reality. And how do you get to it? How do you realize it in your life? And they found there was a lot of freedom in matters of religion. So they found multiple ways to it, multiple practices, multiple philosophies, multiple ways of attaining fulfillment, multiple ways of transcending sorrow in a deep way. And what we are looking at, Vedanta, Advaita Vedanta, it's the royal road. If you look at the Upanishads, it's the highway. Over time, other roads have become more popular, the surface roads. But this is the freeway. The surface roads, the devotional path based on faith, the path of the mystic based on spiritual exercises, meditations and the like. But this is the royal path, directly pointing to an ever-existing reality right now, all the time, accessible to us. But in a strange way, hidden by the veil of ignorance, by just not knowing, not realizing. What is the problem? One sadhu said from long ago, I remember, he put it in Hindi, simple homespun Hindi, I'll tell you and translate. Bevkufi matra hai Mahatma ji. It is foolishness alone that prevents us, that the veil on our eyes is just our foolishness, our not seeing, our refusal to see. It is true in one sense. It would be very unjust if the greatest and the best thing were not available freely all the time to everybody. But Vedanta says the greatest of all things, the ultimate reality, is freely, effortlessly available to everybody all the time. In fact, you are it. That's the teaching of the Vedanta, Tattvamasi. Yesterday, we took a deep dive into Vedanta through one of the Upanishads, the Kena Upanishad, brilliant Upanishad, and we will follow up today. It will rise to a climax today. But we'll quickly take a look at what did we see yesterday. Keneshitam patati preshitam mana, kena prana pratama prayiti yukta, keneshitam vacham imam vadanti, chakshu shrotram gaudeva yunakti. The student asks, Sir, what gives me the experience of thinking, feeling, remembering, desiring, even the sense of ego, I am, even this. All of this, where does it come from? Profound question. Reflecting back upon oneself. And I'm speaking. How is this possible? And speaking stands for every action. If I walk, talk, play, drive, whatever I'm doing, these experiences, how are they possible? I'm seeing, I'm hearing, and all the senses. How is that experience possible? I draw a breath. and I release the breath. How is that experience possible? Every little experience in our life, the question is, what is that light powering, illumining all of these experiences, giving us these experiences? The question itself is so advanced, so profound. Sometimes, after so many years of studying Vedanta, when I look back at the question, the Professor Arindam Chakravarti told me, Swami, stay with the question. Stay with the question. We are so eager when we read the question. The little boy Nachiketa asks the Lord of Death, what is there beyond death? And we say, yes, I want to know. This is my question too. And quickly flip the pages. What's the answer? What's the answer? Arjuna asks questions to Krishna. Yes, I want to know. What's the answer? Here the student asks the teacher, the mystery of consciousness. Yes, I want to know. What's the answer? Flip the pages. Get to the answer. No. He says, stay with the question. And over the decades I've begun to see the answers are already there in the question. The rest of the Upanishad is basically unpacking the question. We will see. Remember this question. What powers, what gives me this very experience of life? Maybe one day I will see God, maybe, if I'm so fortunate. But even then, it will still be this same consciousness which enables me to see God. And Vedanta, Upanishads, they ask, what is that consciousness? Basically, what are you? What am I? And the answer was even more incredible. Shrotrasya shrotram manaso manoyat vachoha vacham sau pranasya pranah chakshushas chakshur atimuchya dhira pretya asmad lokadamrita bhavanti. What you are asking about? It is the ear of the ear, it is the eye of the eye, it is the mind of the mind, it is the speech of the speech, it is the breath of the breath. Basically consciousness. I'm not going to explain it. We spent some time on it yesterday in the evening. And if you begin to appreciate consciousness for what it is, we will see I am that. Basically, I am consciousness. What I thought I was, this body, this mind, these are all appearances in consciousness. These are all objects to consciousness. Just as I do not think that these objects, I am that these objects. No. Knowing the table doesn't make me a table. But consciousness, when I realize what consciousness is, begin to understand. I'm using the English word consciousness. Notice, in the Upanishad, Kena Upanishad, they don't use a word for consciousness. They call it the ear of the ear, eye of the eye, mind of the mind. They indicate it, indirectly, imply it, point to it. When I realize I am that, what will be the result? Atimuchya. Yesterday we spent more or less the whole theme of yesterday, you can take away in one word. Atimuchya, the Sanskrit word Atimuchya meaning transcends. Here in this body, living this life, yet I am beyond the body. I am awareness. Just like the screen on which the movie plays. The screen transcends the movie. Whatever happens in the movie doesn't touch the screen. If there's a big explosion in the movie, the screen doesn't burn up. If there's a flood in the movie, the screen doesn't get wet. If the movie changes, the screen remains the same. And if there is no movie, still the screen. Similarly, in our day-to-day lives, whatever happens or does not happen, it's all on that one screen which you are, the screen of consciousness, and it is not touched, neither improved nor degraded by the vicissitudes of life. That we realize. This is called Atimuchya. And the result is that promise, immortality. You see the continuity, the prayer which was just chanted. By this one attains immortality. Here the teacher says, if you realize this, you attain immortality. In what sense? This consciousness is immortal. You realize what I am is already immortal, is already beyond change, beyond birth and death. It always is. In fact, it is because of that, it's because of the screen that the movies appear. It is because of your real nature that life appears, including birth and death. But that is not born, that does not die. Yesterday we did an experiment to see it does not need anything, it's not afraid of anything or anxious about anything. Remember that experience from a deep sleep perspective, the bare consciousness in itself. It is not born, it does not die. It doesn't even need Vedanta or spirituality. Vedanta is needed to point it out. And the most amazing thing is, it's available all the time, right now also. Now going forward, we're moving on now. You will see, I hope to demonstrate some of the extraordinary nature of this, the language used in this, the teaching used in this Upanishad. Really extraordinary, fascinating. And it will rise to a climax. One of the short sentences, phrases, so powerful in all the Vedantic literature. It's there in this Upanishad. We'll come to it. So that student like us becomes eager. I would like to know about this. I would like to become enlightened. I want to realize this. Tell me, how do I know this? And this is the thing about the Kena Upanishad. Very unexpected. What you expect, it will not happen. How will I realize this? Please teach me. And the teacher says, I can't. Somebody else, you can't. Then somebody else, nobody can. But you yourself are enlightened, right? He says, no, even I don't know it. That's so shocking. Na tatra vāggacchati, na tatra vāggacchati na chakshur na manaha, na vidmo na vijanimo yathaita danushishyat. He says, we do not know how we can teach it. We also do not know it ourselves. The enlightened one says, we do not know it. There is a very subtle meaning in this. That means we don't know it as an object of knowledge, just like we know. So don't make a mistake thinking. So the way I know stuff, by reading books, going to class, watching a YouTube video, nowadays none of that. Nowadays just ask ChatGPT. It is not that kind of knowledge. It is knowledge, but not that kind of knowledge. It says we do not know it. And therefore we don't know how we can teach it. But why don't you know it? Because the usual means of knowledge fail to reveal it. Na tatra chakshur gacchati, na vāggacchati, no manaha. The eyes, and by extension, the ears, the nose, the tongue, the senses cannot reveal it, they cannot objectify it. Having no form, eyes cannot see it. The ultimate reality, pure consciousness, does not have color, shape. The eyes cannot see it. Doesn't have a sound, the ears cannot hear it. Doesn't have a touch or a feel, doesn't have an odor or a taste. So the senses cannot objectify it. I can't know it with the senses. Yes, but you can speak about it. You are speaking about it. Navāggacchati, you can't speak about it. You can't speak about it. But you are. All of this, the long talks. Yes, but notice, we are not directly speaking about it. None of the language which we use directly reveals it. Just as I say, this is a bottle, I can't do that to the ultimate reality, our Atman, Brahman, pure consciousness. Even if you know what pure consciousness is, that consciousness which we are, what it is right now, it's obvious in a certain way. Still, you can't directly refer to it with language. And there are reasons why language will not work. Again, I'm reminded, one of the smartest guys I met recently, he's the person behind the AI, Gemini AI, is it Google? Yeah. Brilliant guy. One of the first I met who could cut down all my arguments within minutes. So whatever arguments, he said, AI can be conscious. And I said, no. And he said, why not? Tell me. Explain. So I explained Vedanta in 10 minutes to him and then my arguments. And he knocked them down like 9 pins, one after another. One of the arguments was language. The ultimate reality cannot be grasped by language. And your large language model, the only access to knowledge it has is language. And therefore it cannot grasp that ultimate reality. His answer was straightforward. He said, but Swami, all of this knowledge is encoded in Vedanta, in all the texts and in all the teachings that you give and many others give. And all of that is available to Gemini, to the AI. So why, if your students can understand it, why can't Gemini understand it? So like this, the argument went on. Navāggacchati, the Upanishad teacher says, no, language cannot directly refer to that reality. At least you can think about it. The mind can access it. No manaha, the mind cannot. And therefore, we do not know it. And not knowing it, we can't teach it. I can't teach it. You can imagine the disappointment of the student. She said, you should have told me, you know how far I've come to this school and on a perfectly beautiful Sunday morning, and the first thing you tell me is, I can't teach you. There's nothing to be taught there here. Then the student, you can imagine the disappointment of the student, and the teacher says, wait. There is a way. And next, the Upanishad is always surprising. Anya deva tadviditadato aviditadadi iti shushruma purvesham yenastadvya chachakshire. What does the teacher say? There is a way. Our teachers tried that way on us and we became enlightened. I'm going to try that way on you. Let's see if you become enlightened. So the student gets some hope. All right, what's the way? How do I become enlightened? How do I realize that? That which you're looking for is other than the known and other than the unknown. Always the language is very concise, but not easy at all. It's trying to say something, point us at something, which cannot be directly spoken about. Why don't you say it outright? If you say outright, it is Atman, it is Brahman, it is pure consciousness, it is Satchidananda. The problem with saying that is, we don't know what we just said. We have no idea really. A more skillful use of language, a more skillful way of teaching, pedagogy, the skill in pedagogy, is to make sure, create the conditions for the arising of enlightenment in the student. And this the teacher is consummate master of. Other than the known. So the student will feel, oh, so I know so many things, but what you are going to teach me is other than what I know. Good, that I understand. It's unknown to me. It is other than the unknown also. All our knowledge neatly falls in these two categories. There's a narrow band, a narrow spectrum, which we say, I know, I have seen it, heard it, smelt it, tasted it, I have read about it, I have argued about it, I understand it. ChatGPT told me. So I know this. And outside this, there's a huge, huge arena, a huge field of the unknown. So all knowledge has to be either about what I know already or what I don't know. What I don't know, it can be brought within the realm of knowledge. What I know can sometimes pass out of the realm of knowledge and become unknown again. There was a seminar in New York, there's something called the New School. So a few years ago, New School is also pretty old, it's more than 100 years old. And a few years ago, there was a seminar on the unknown. The unknown and unknowable. In physics, in mathematics, in even in literature, in history, things like that. Wonderful. Experts from all over the world, they came and gave talks on that. Noted physicists, mathematicians, philosophers, historians. So anyway, I will not go into that. Very interesting. But unknown. So it is other than the known, other than the unknown. What's the one thing? We all know the answer to this one. What's the one thing which is not the known, also not the unknown?
God.
God for me right now is either known or unknown. Yourself. Somebody got it right. Yourself. Consciousness, true, but he'll come later. Consciousness is the answer of a trained Vedantin. But yourself, the knower. Other than the known is the knower. Other than the unknown is the knower. The one who says, I know or I do not know. That one, the knower, you yourself. Are you known? You say, yeah, I am known. But as we saw, whatever we think we know about it, those are objects. The core of the knower, the essence of the knower, what I truly am, that never becomes an object of knowledge. Therefore, it is not part of the known. Why? What is known? Whatever is an epistemological object, whatever is demonstrated to us by the epistemological instruments. These are fancy words for saying whatever we know. How do we know it? Through our senses, through our language, through our science, inference, through even through religion. This is called the known. And the knower never becomes an object which can be known in this way. But we cannot say that knower is unknown. I am here. This is what is the first thing which most obvious to me is that I am. What I am, that I cannot objectify. But that I am, there is no doubt about it. So I am not unknown to myself. It would be very ridiculous to say, are you here in this hall? Suppose you ask, if such and such person is attending the talk or not. And we can ask the organizers, look at the list of names, yes, that person must be here. Or somebody can say, yes, he is here or she is here. I saw them. I saw them. But if you ask you, are you here? Will you say, let me take a look. I am here, I can confirm. You never do that. Will you say, let me ask the organizers, is my name on the list? Yes, so I must be here. No, we never do that. We don't use any of the usual instruments of knowledge to demonstrate our own existence. Our own existence, as Descartes found out, is indubitable. Not only indubitable, it's directly evident to us that I am. So we can't say I don't know myself. In one sense I do, but in another sense it's not an object of any of the sources of knowledge. Therefore, other than the known and other than the unknown, that's what you're looking for. And the rest of the Upanishad, this is a short Upanishad, the rest of the Upanishad is just an unpacking of this answer. Other than the known and other than the unknown. I'll jump ahead a little bit. The teacher gives the student a test, a quiz, to see if the student has grasped what's being taught. And so ask the student, so now have you realized Atman, Brahman, pure consciousness? The teaching is over, have you realized it? And the student says, yeah. The teacher said, what? I just told you it's other than the known. I'm asking you, have you known Atman or Brahman or pure consciousness? That same thing, that reality, your real nature. Have you known it? He says, yes, but it can't be known. I told you that it's other than the known. Now it's a difficult test. Because if the student says, yes, I know it, the teacher will just roll his eyes and say, I told you it's not known. And if the student says, I don't know, then the teacher will just flunk him. You failed. The whole thing was to know, to realize, to become enlightened. And you're saying you don't know, so you failed. Now, how do you get out of this? It reminds me, when I was a little kid, a cousin of mine, she was very poor in math, and our grandfather used to teach us math. He was a strict teacher. This old man, he would sit with his walking cane, and if you got the answers wrong, he would never beat us, but he would threaten us with the cane. And my cousin, when the question was posed to my cousin would say, so my grandfather would ask, so what do you do here? Do you add or what? And my cousin would look at him carefully and say, addition? My grandfather would, addition? Say, no, subtraction. Subtraction? No, multiplication, no, division. And my grandfather would threaten with the stick, and she would circle back to addition. Those are the only 4 options she knew. And her whole thing was looking at to check was not the problem itself, my grandfather's expression. Is am I getting it right or not? The student is caught now. He can't say anything. Whatever he says is wrong. But the student is enlightened and is one up on the teacher. We'll see how. It's brilliant, this part. And remember, what's all this in aid of, all these fireworks? It's aid of to show us that our real nature, while utterly evident, is not an object. It's not an object. It is you, and you are not an object. You are real. That's the thing, we think what is objective is reality. That's how we have been trained to think. Materialism, science trains to think us that way. And therefore, if I exist, I must be some kind of object. The Vedanta thoroughly denies that first. You do exist. In fact, nothing exists as surely as you. Descartes found that out. And yet you are not an object. Yadi manyase suvedeti nona yadi manyase suvedeti daharam eva tvam avetta brahmano rupam yadasya deveshvatanu mimansya mevate manye viditam. If you think you know Brahman, you know very little indeed, the teacher says. You know very little of that ultimate reality in yourself and in this cosmos. Think about it again, inquire about it again. And the student does that, inquires about it again, and comes back and the teacher asks, so now, what's your answer? Do you know Brahman? And the student says, I think I do. Manye viditam. I think I do. And immediately you can imagine the teacher rolling his eyes. Didn't you listen to anything I said? But the student says, stop. And he explains. And the next mantra, the student is now explaining. Naham manye suvedeti nona vedeti vedacha yonas tad veda nona vedeti vedacha. I am not claiming that I know it objectively. But I am not claiming that I do not know it either. I know it and I don't know it. You can imagine all the other students scratching their heads. What? And then he stands up and explains. The teacher nods approvingly. Yes, you've got it. The student stands up and explains to the other students. Those of us who understand my statement, I know it and I do not know it. They know it. By this time, everybody is thoroughly confused. What's going on here? And now the teacher explains to everybody that what was just said. The teacher is delighted with the student because the student has got it absolutely right. Yasya matam tasya matam matam yasya na vedasa avijñātam vijānatam vijñātam avijānatam. He says, for those who think they know it objectively, they do not know it. For those who think that they do not know it, within brackets objectively, they know it. For it is known to those who do not know and unknown to those who know. I'm sure that makes it all very clear. This is all in aid of showing our real nature, pure consciousness. If we have followed Vedanta in any of the tracks, this method of the seer and the seeing, the method of the 5 layers of the human personality, the method of waking, dreaming, sleeping, any method of Vedanta, if you followed, or yesterday which we did, the grandfather and the teeth, the way of agreement and disagreement, when we come to ourselves as awareness, bare awareness, non-objective awareness, and then we can check, is this awareness which I am, is it an object to any source of knowledge, through any sense organ, to any language, to any way of thinking? No, it is that which illumines the activity of all the sources of knowledge. It is not given by any pramana directly, source of knowledge. All pramanas are illumined, all sources of knowledge are illumined by this consciousness. And yet, so in that sense it's not known by any method of knowledge. And yet, obviously I am it. It is not unknown at all. Vivekananda says it's more than known. First, your own existence is revealed, and then the world. So it is more than known. I am it. So this is what was being said there. All of this is background. Now we will come to the climax, I think the highest point of the Upanishad, and one of the most remarkable pronouncements in all the Upanishads. Pratibodha viditam matam amritatvam hi vindate. This line itself I will hold on to, and the rest of the talk will be about that. Pratibodha viditam matam amritatvam hi vindate. What does that mean? What is answering the question? What is true enlightenment? Can you tell me straight away? And the teacher says, in every experience, when that is revealed, that ultimate reality is revealed in every experience, then you are fully enlightened. And the result of that will be immortality. Pratibodha viditam matam. Pratibodha viditam means in every experience, the ultimate reality is being revealed. When this state has been attained, or this is your you can honestly claim, yes, it is true. Effortlessly, instantaneously, Atman or Brahman is shining all the time. I don't have to do anything about it. Then you are truly enlightened. Matam, the Upanishad concludes, the teacher concludes, this is full enlightenment. And the result of this enlightenment, amritatvam, immortality. Notice how tightly argued this Upanishad is. What was the original question? Tell me that by which I am able to see, hear, smell, think and all of that. And all that the teacher is doing from the beginning till now is talking about our conscious experience. But it's quite remarkable, this teaching. It seems to be a U-turn on what he had been telling till now. Till now it was all negative. You are able to experience all this not because of your ears, not because of your eyes, or because of your mind or language. No. It is the ear of the ear, it is the eye of the eye, it is the mind of the mind, it is the tongue of the speech of the speech. It is other than the known, it is other than the unknown. If you think you know it, you do not know it. If you think you do not know it, you know it. It's all in a negative way. Denying, not this, not this, not this. Now suddenly he reverses it. This, every experience you are having is revealing Atman or Brahman or that ultimate reality. Let us try to understand this. This is the climax. Your enlightenment, wouldn't you want it to be effortless? Your enlightenment, wouldn't you want to be instantaneous? Your enlightenment, wouldn't you want it to be continuously available to you all the time? Here, let us see how. With eyes open and eyes closed. Sri Ramakrishna would say, If I close my eyes, if I open my eyes, God is not there. If I close my eyes in meditation, God is there. If I open my eyes, God is not there. What kind of God would that be? Here is an answer. With eyes closed, with eyes open, that reality is available to you. In fact, it's the only thing that we are experiencing, we don't recognize it. Alright, what does it mean? Remember the phrase, Pratibodha Viditam Matam. What does it mean? When the ultimate reality is revealed to you in every experience, that is the definition of full enlightenment. That is the definition of enlightenment, let us say. Then you can say, I know it. Quote unquote, know it. What does it mean? I'll give five levels of interpretation. Of what? When in every experience you know it. That is enlightenment. 5 levels of interpretation. The first 3 are not the real interpretation, but they are suggested by Shankaracharya in his commentary. They are all beautiful. They all work, but we'll go deeper and deeper. First is Pratibodha, the word Pratibodha. We're trying to understand that in every experience. But Pratibodha, the Sanskrit, can be interpreted in different ways. One way is Pratibodha is awakening somebody. There is Uttishtata Jagrata Prapya Varan Nibodhata. That word Nibodhata means realize. Go to the masters and learn from them and realize the true nature, your true nature. Who am I? What am I? From a similar word is Pratibodha, is to awaken somebody. The enlightened ones, the Guru awakens us. We awaken to a sense of what or who we truly are. That's one meaning of Pratibodha. What are we trying to do? Here, Pratibodha. We're trying to awaken. This is called Pratibodha. One meaning, first meaning. The whole process of all our Vedanta, our meditation, our philosophical study, this is Pratibodha. We are trying to awaken. But technically it's the Guru who awakens us. Pratibodha is to awaken. The Guru awakening the student is Pratibodha, first meaning. Second meaning, a deeper meaning. The awakening itself is called Pratibodha. When I become enlightened, the moment of enlightenment, in Sanskrit, Brahma Jnana, the realization of Brahman. Atma Jnana, self-realization. These are all called awakening. Awakening, so it is, our present state is understood like a sleep. I'm asleep to my real nature and I awaken to my real nature. This is called Pratibodha. Few days ago we celebrated Buddha Purnima, Vaishakhi, the birth of the Buddha. There's a beautiful story of when he became enlightened. He was walking from Bodh Gaya to Sarnath, where in India. This is 2,500 years ago. In Sarnath, where he gave the first teaching. But on the way, there's a beautiful little anecdote. A little shepherd boy sees him, young man, a shepherd boy, sees him and is so struck by the expression on the Buddha's face, the newly awakened Buddha, and asks, not who are you? Houston Smith in his book on religion, he says, many people have been asked, who are you? But very few have been asked, what are you? And the little boy asks the Buddha, what are you? By looking at his face. Are you a god? The Buddha says, no. Are you a messenger of the gods? He said, no. Are you a human being? The Buddha says, no. Then what are you? I am the Buddha, I am the awakened. I am the awakened. The same word, the same Sanskrit root, Buddha, Pratibodha. It means to awaken. Awaken from the sleep of Maya, from the sleep of ignorance. Awaken to a realization of our own glory. This is called Pratibodha. Second meaning. Third meaning. Pratibodha means reversing the direction of our knowledge. Generally, our attention is entirely fixed on the objective world, on people, on happenings, what's there. And nowadays it's fixed on. All this is called bodha, instances of cognition, of awareness, of knowledge, of experience in a broad sense. When we are continuously flowing outwards. And this continuous flowing outwards is the prime obstacle to enlightenment. Our fixation, fascination with the world of objects, to the extent that we have forgotten the subject. We hardly think, if we at all think of the subject ourselves, we think it's some kind of object also. This is called in Kena Upanishad, Paran Chikhani Vyatrinat Swayambhu Tasmat Paran Pashyati Nantaratman. In the Kena Upanishad is said, our senses have been turned outwards. That's what they're meant to do. But they're turned outwards. And therefore we see the external world. We see, hear, smell, taste, touch. All our thinking is about the world and people. Even about ourselves. What do we think about? The body. So all our attention is focused on object. And then it says, Upanishad says, that's why we do not see the inner self, Antaratman. Then how do you see the inner self? Kaschid dhira pratyagatmanamaikshat avritta chakshur amritattvamichat. Some rare, wise, disciplined, spiritual seeker turned inwards. How? Avritta chakshur literally means covering the eyes. That means turning the senses inwards, not flowing outwards. An inward inquiry into who am I, and realized the inner self, who am I? For what purpose? Why did he do this? Amritatvamichan, desiring immortality. Look at that, it's the same theme actually. Everywhere, you see, from the beautiful prayer which was chanted, attaining of immortality, by realizing that you attain immortality. The teacher says in every experience when you realize that you attain immortality. Here it says you turned our attention inwards to attain immortality. That was the goal, to go transcend death, to transcend limitation and sorrow. Amritatvamichan. But what did he do? Avritta chakshur, covering the eyes, literally turning inwards. This turning inwards, all our bodha, our experiences are outward, flowing outwards. When you turn it inwards, in Sanskrit it will become pratibodha. The object of our inquiry is not out there, but I myself, the inquirer himself or herself, is the object of inquiry now. We can't even call it object now. The subject becomes the object of inquiry now. That is called pratibodha, turning inwards. That is the whole purpose behind meditation. And this inquiry about the world is science. Inquiry about God and heaven is religion. But inquiry about who or what am I, to which science and religion are appearing and disappearing, that one, that fundamental reality, this is Vedanta, Pratibodha. Beautiful meaning. Third meaning. But none of them are the actual meaning. None of these are all, before cinema they used to show trailer. When we were kids, I think even now they show trailers. These are all trailers. The real thing is coming now. These are all appetizers. 3 meanings, I said 5 meanings of what? Pratibodha. Then the next 2 meanings are the real meaning. 2 levels, deeper levels of understanding. First passage. Pratibodha veditam matam. My reality, who am I, is revealed in every experience. This is something which is clear in Drigdrishya Viveka, for example. There's a whole meditation technique based on it. Every experience that I have reminds me of the subject. How? When I'm seeing all of you, when I see that person, I know that person is here. But I don't know anything about anybody else. When I see that person, I know that person is here. So seeing the person is a proof of the existence of that person. Seeing. But now if I ask, by seeing what will I know that there are eyes? Seeing you, I know you are here, but I don't know anything about anybody else. But seeing what will tell me that there are eyes? You should see the eyes, but you can't see the eyes. You cannot. You can at most see the reflection of your eyes. You can take a selfie, a picture. You can see the picture of your eyes. But you can't see the eyes directly. So how will I know that I have eyes? My question, let me put it this way. Seeing what tells me that I have eyes? Seeing? Anything. Yes, correct. That's true. Be confident. Yes. The very fact that I am able to see him, her, all of them, this hall, anything, if I see anything, if I see everything, all of that tells me not only about that thing, it also tells me my eyes are there and they are working. So seeing itself, seeing anything is an experience of my eyes. Whatever you see X, it's an experience of X. If you see Y, it's an experience of Y. If you see Z, it's an experience of Z. XYZ. But XYZ, seeing XYZ is an experience, still difficult for me to say Z. It's Z for me, growing up in India. So, alright, XYZ. So, turning inwards, seeing whatever I see, XYZ, whatever I see, it's an experience of the eyes. Similarly, the claim is, whatever you see, whatever you experience, is an experience not only of that object, but it's also an experience. In every of those experiences, consciousness is revealed. I am consciousness. It is revealed in every experience. Put it this way, consciousness plus object is equal to experience. Consciousness, you the consciousness, and any object, something that you see, hear, smell, taste, touch, think about, remember, desire, hate, enjoy, suffer, whatever the object is. It could be external. It could be in the body. It could be in the mind. Whatever the object is. All of them, it's only when they come in contact with consciousness, you have an experience. So, in one sense, experience of any object points back to consciousness. Usually we remain limited with what I am seeing, hearing, be absorbed in that. But Vedanta is saying, you take a U-turn from there, pratibodha, and notice, I am consciousness. You have so many objects here. The light is falling on all those objects. What is this? Flower bouquet. What is this? A water bottle. What is this? A mobile phone. But in each case, what is illumining all of them? That same light. What is this? Light plus flower bouquet. What is this? Light plus water bottle. What is this? Light plus mobile phone. That's how I'm able to see them. That's why I have an experience of seeing them. Consciousness plus object is equal to experience. What is experience? It's our life. That's what we are. Experience. Anything in life. Worldly, secular, horrible, good, spiritual. All of that is experience. And it's all, behind all of it is consciousness. So every experience shows me that I am conscious. One sadhu in Uttarakhand, I did it yesterday actually, with that projector and the beam of the projector, those who were here. Did you notice? It seemed like there's nothing there. The moment I thrust my hand there, you saw my hand, but you also became aware that it's blazing with light there. Did you see yesterday? Exactly like that. Whatever you thrust in that area, you will see that object, but you will also suddenly be aware of the light which is there. Similarly, every object that we experience is not only an experience of the object, it's also experience of myself as pure consciousness. In the Drigdrishya Viveka, this is used for 6 meditation techniques in the text Drigdrishya Viveka. Whatever experience you have, the teacher says in our minds, whatever thought arises, desire, peace, restlessness, memories, whatever is arising, X, Y, Z, whatever is arising in the mind, notice, tat sakshittvena chetanam. Consciousness is there as the illuminer of that thought, of that desire, of that memory. Forget about that particular thought or emotion. Use that to turn back to yourself as consciousness. Another example, mirror. In every mirror, you see the reflection of your own face. Your own face will be there in the mirror. And use that mirror and the reflection to go back to your original face. The thing is, your original face is not an object. You can't see it. But you can objectify it with the help of a mirror. And then use the mirror to go back to your original face. Do you see what I mean? We do it all the time. When you are shaving or putting makeup on or brushing your teeth, we do it instinctively. We don't go, okay, that is actually not my face. That's a mirror. And those are not my teeth. My teeth are here. So from there I will take the toothbrush and go back here and then brush my... No. We look at our face and our teeth and we start brushing our teeth. We brush our teeth looking at the, I mean, it's pointing us back to ourselves. Look how naturally we do it. We don't even have to calculate. We never make the mistake, okay, I'm going to brush my teeth, and there is the face, there is the teeth, and I have to brush my teeth there. No. This is the problem which, one of the Vaishnava acharyas points out why we are unhappy. This is a very beautiful teaching from the devotional school, not Vedanta school, but devotional school. Why we fail, why we are unhappy, why we are dissatisfied. We are brushing the mirror instead of brushing our teeth. He puts it in different language. We are decorating the face in the mirror instead of decorating the face, the original. What is the original? In a devotional way, God. And what is the reflection? World. We are trying to please the world. We are trying to arrange the world, whereas the whole point of the world was to point back to God. If you catch hold of God, of course, in devotional path it is faith, in belief and faith. If we catch hold of the Lord, in whichever form you worship God, and trust and worship and do that first, everything else will fall into place. You brush your teeth here, you'll see amazingly, by brushing the teeth here, the teeth in the mirror are also clean. How amazing. Tasmin tushte jagat tushtam. If the Lord is pleased, the world is pleased with you. So, if you smile, the mirror smiles back at you. So if God smiles, the world smiles back at you. This is a very beautiful teaching. It's a devotional teaching. But philosophically, the same thing applies here. Every experience that we have points back to yourself as the illuminer of that experience. Every object I trust in the beam of that projector light points back to the light itself as the illuminer of whatever object it is. Tat sakshitvena chetanam and drigdrishya vivekam. What you do is meticulously, in every experience, note that you, the pure consciousness, are available there. It's very easy, it's instantaneous. You just have to take a U-turn, like the mirror. Think of the mirror and then look back to yourself. Think of the experience. Here is a flash of pain. You pinch yourself, here's a flash of pain. In me, the consciousness, the flash of pain is illumined. I am consciousness. And what kind of consciousness? Remember, Atimuchya. That consciousness has no problem at all. I am already the problem-free consciousness, even when the pain is flashing in consciousness. As consciousness, I am free. I was giving this talk, a variant of this, in the University of North Dakota, several years back. And in the audience, a young boy, he was sitting at the back, he was pinching himself. And so somebody asked, what are you doing? And he said, I'm trying to see if the Swami is right. There's a pain, I'm causing it, but as consciousness, in itself, it's fine. I am consciousness. And consciousness is not in pain, it's illumining a pain appearing in consciousness. So, this is called pratibodha viditam matam. A variety of meditation techniques have been developed to internalize this. This is not only it has to be heard, it has to be understood and then internalized so that it becomes natural. That in every experience you can look back and see, I am the witness consciousness and I am fine. I am the light. Sri Ramakrishna, dying of cancer. Swami Turiyananda Hari, he asks Sri Ramakrishna, how are you today, sir? And Sri Ramakrishna says, it hurts, tumor, cancer. I can't eat. And that young man, for some reason, he saw something. That's why he said, but sir, I see that you are in great bliss. And Sri Ramakrishna, it's a cruel thing to say to a terminal cancer patient. But Sri Ramakrishna laughed and he said, oh, the rascal has found me out. He sees through the truth. Yes, he agrees. So is he acting? Is he not feeling the pain? Is there no cancer? There is cancer. There is pain. There is suffering. All that is true. But the greater truth is, as the witness of that, I am perfectly all right. In fact, the enlightened one can use the pain of that cancer as a powerful meditation tool. Focus on the pain. Don't try to blank it out. Focus on the pain. It will reveal to you, you are pure consciousness. You are God. That pain itself. I heard of a great Vaishnava master, Chittaram Dashankarnath. His student told me that when our Swami was dying, Vaishnava, a devotee of Krishna, when our teacher was dying in his old age, sometimes bed sores are there. It's very difficult because if you lie on the bed for a long time with pressure on one side, So the doctors would come and the disciples would, so our guru was a tall man, so it hold him, support him, and the doctor and nurses would come and clean the bed sore. And this old Swami would laugh, would giggle. And the doctor would say, stop doing that because we can't understand. Is it hurting or not, this place? For him, it's the flash of pain in the bed sore is a flash revealing that I am limitless consciousness. It's a direct proof of that. Every experience, even especially a sharp experience, a flash of joy, aesthetic joy, tremendous joy, pleasure, or a flash of pain, suffering, all point back quite effectively. More than our meditation, it points back, I am the witness consciousness. Immediately. This is pratibodha viditam matam. How wonderful. Atman, Brahman, God consciousness, whatever you call it, is continuously available to us, instantaneously available to us. This is a secret. It opens the door to that. It's as simple as that. Of course, when you practice, it's not as simple. What happens is, when we try to do that, usually we get overwhelmed by the object, by either the temptation of it. That's why we get swept away into the world. Or by the terror, fear, anxiety created by the world. It prevents us from doing the U-turn and looking back at ourselves. If you do that, you look back at yourself, you will see you're completely problem-free. You can use that also, see? Every chime of that is shining and pointing out pure consciousness. Yes.
Please, someone turn that off.
Just switch it up, just switch it up.
Singing glories.
Yes. So, pratibodha viditam matam. Now let's go a little deeper. The final interpretation. Even more powerful. Notice what we did just now is still dualistic. Consciousness, it's like I, the real face, and the face reflected in the mirror. There is something apart from the face. The mirror is there, reflected face is there. This is a duality. Nothing wrong with it, but this is not Advaita. This is Sankhya. Sankhya, a very ancient philosophy, uses Prakriti, the mirror of nature, to point back to your real nature, to yourself. Good technique. But Advaita goes further. See that example which I used, the hand in the beam of light. But the beam of light and the hand are two different things. But what Advaita Vedanta is saying is something incredible. It is saying that the object, what is the relationship between consciousness and object? So far we are saying that they are two different things and interacting. Advaita Vedanta says no. The object is consciousness itself. Consciousness itself appears as its own object and then appreciates itself. As the object, if consciousness forgets itself and is immersed in the object, samsara. If consciousness remembers itself and appreciates the object, nirvana. The Buddhists have a beautiful saying. On the primordial ground of being, there is this magical display. If you, in ignorance, it is samsara. In knowledge, in enlightenment, it is nirvana. What is that? That's our AI friends. What is this magical display? This world, the world of objects appearing in consciousness. Our minds, senses, bodies, and the external world, thoughts, feelings, emotions, perceptions, all of this is the magical display. Time, space, causation is the stage on which a theatrical performance is taking place. Who is the stage? Who is the actor? Who is the director? Consciousness itself. And consciousness enjoys this. First, you have to abstract away from this play and appreciate consciousness for what it is. This pure being, what it is, the Atman, Brahman. Once you have appreciated it, then come back to the play and see it is the play of that one consciousness alone. And hence non-duality is established. Let me give a little more convoluted, little more difficult example, but I sort of came up with it. Mirror and face. I used that example. It is a mirror. I see my face, and I usually am absorbed in the mirror. But now what I do, I use the face to go back to my real face. I am consciousness. I am coming into contact with objects. I have experiences. I use that experience to not be focused on the object, but use it to come back to myself as the witness consciousness. This is what we have got so far. But here there is a duality between consciousness and object, between the face and the mirror. Now, imagine. This is the extended example. Imagine. I'm looking at my face in the mirror and I say, yeah, that's the mirror and that's the reflected face, but this is my real face. But this real face, mirror is separate from it. But next moment I wake up from a dream. Oh, I was looking at my face in a mirror in a dream. Then I realized my face which I was seeing, the mirror in which I was seeing it, and the reflected face, they are all appearances in my dreaming mind. It is the mind alone which was the face there, which was the mirror there, and the reflection there. All of it are appearances in the mind. In fact, the face in the dream and the mirror in the dream, they are one and the same. Same what? Same mind which is dreaming. Here also, Vedanta says, actually that is the case. This consciousness, it appears as subject and object. Seer and the seen. You and your world. What are you? You are that consciousness. Tattvamasi, you are that. But it appears as the relative you and your relative world. The waker and your waker's world. The dreamer and your dream world. And the deep sleep darkness where subject and object are merged. Now we have non-duality. What happens now is remarkable. From this perspective, now again when you look back to pratibodha viditam matam, in every experience, you don't have to treat the object as a mirror to go back to yourself anymore. The object is Atman or Brahman. The object is Satchidananda. It is you. It is this Atman, the primordial consciousness. In order to experience yourself, do the impossible, in order to experience it itself, it appears as its own object. That is called Maya. It appears as space, time and causation and the whole universe. And experiences itself, appreciates itself. It is God looking at God's face in the mirror of nature. But the mirror and the face, reflected face, are nothing but God. There's only one reality. The beautiful story by Alan Watts. What is all this? He tells a child story, but it's a story for grown-up people. That God existed. Only God exists, nothing else. This is a Kashmiri Shaiva tradition, the story. God means Parama Shiva there. Only Shiva exists. But from Alan Watts' anecdote, eternity to eternity, but eternity is a pretty long time, so it's boring. And God wanted to play. But there's nobody to play with. There's only God. So what could God do? And then God thought for a long time, because God is very clever. God came up with a brilliant idea. God pretended to be not God. Now there are two. There is God and God pretending to be not God. Now they can play. But the problem was, God is very good at what God does. So when God pretended to be not God, he forgot that he was God. And now God pretending to be not God, forgetting that he is God, is searching for God. Here we are. Brilliant story, Alan Watts. It's an adaptation of a Kashmiri Shaiva idea, but the story was entirely his creation. So, that is what is happening. Pratibodha viditam matam. Can we recognize God in every instant? Because there is only God at every instant, at every place, in every experience. Why should we not be able to uncover that? And this is the better direct introduction. Directly introducing the non-dual consciousness. What do you need to do? Don't do anything. It is perfect as it is. It means not the world. The world is not perfect as it is. But that which is appearing as the world, Atman, Brahman, is perfect as it is, right now. Stay with this experience. God is being revealed, right now. In all experiences. Not only this, every experience that we have. Perfectly shining forth. The primordial ground of experience. Atman, Brahman, Buddha nature, Tathagata Tattva, whatever you call it. In ignorance, it appears as samsara. In knowledge, enlightenment, it appears as nirvana. Pratibodha viditam. When? In every experience. That equation will have to be modified. Consciousness plus object is equal to experience will now have to be modified, because consciousness and object are not two different things. Consciousness plus object within brackets, because that object within brackets is consciousness itself. Experiencing itself is called experience. Then every experience is God experience. Every anubhuti in Sanskrit is Brahmanubhuti. This is the climax of Pratibodha Viditam Matam. If you realize this, naturally the result is Amritatvam, immortality. One monk put it so beautifully. From this perspective, he says, oh monks, there are three things you cannot say. I challenge you. The three things you cannot say. Number one, I don't exist. You can't say it. If you say it, it proves your own existence. Number two, I am not conscious, or I am not consciousness. You can't. The moment you say it, it proves that you are consciousness. And number three, I am not dear to myself. I won't explain that, no time for that. If you investigate that, you will see all value, the point of it all lies in yourself, in that consciousness. That's what we are seeking. I am most dear to myself. The Brihadaranyaka Upanishad dialogue between husband and wife, Yajnavalkya and Maitreyi. He explains to Maitreyi that all things are loved for that one consciousness underlying everything. All things are loved for the sake of the Atma. Atmanastu kamaya sarvam priyam bhavati. It is because of our desire, our seeking, our love for our real nature that everything becomes dear to us. Because we see that same real nature shining forth as everything. Anyway, consciousness plus object is equal to experience. Now we have got consciousness, object within brackets, meaning consciousness itself as the object is equal to experience. So every experience is equal to consciousness. Effortlessly, there is no filter anymore. This is the final state of affairs. This, I cannot deny my own existence. This is called Sat. I cannot deny that I am conscious. This is consciousness. This is called Chit. I cannot deny that I am dear to myself. Sat or Chit is dear to itself. This is called Ananda. And every experience reveals Sat, Chit, Ananda. Tattvamasi, you are that. I pray to Sri Ramakrishna, Ma Sharada, Swami Vivekananda, for they hold the key to this enlightenment in their hands. This Upanishad, very interestingly, we are not going there now, there is no time. The Divine Mother, Durga, will make an appearance in this Upanishad, Uma Hemavati, and she will give enlightenment to the king of the gods. It's a very nice story which comes later in the Upanishad. So she holds the key, the Prakriti, nature, Mahamaya, holds the key to this enlightenment. We pray, may they bless all of us, protect all of us, and give us wisdom, enlightenment, and fulfillment, and transcendence of sorrow in this very life itself. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Thank you.